Welcome back to Black Evolution, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Damn Dang. We got very special guests in the building. We're going to talk about one topic: Kamala Harris, debate, and white supremacy. Let's get into it. Here we go. So, I have a very special guest in the building. He goes by the name of Tyler, aka Kidd Klutch. How you doing, young brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Dave, for having me, man.
It's always a pleasure to have you, my brother. So let's get into it. Yeah, no problem. And let's get into it, man. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris and the Mike Pence debate. What you think of that debate, man?
I think it was an ass kicking. I think Kamala Harris kicked his ass on that debate.
I agree with you, my brother. She definitely knew what she was talking about. She definitely did her homework, had all the issues figured out, and she knew what she was talking about. Now, go ahead, brother.
Kamala Harris looked more like the vice president than Mike Pence. He's actually the vice president.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That's sad. And when you looked at the debate itself, you could see that Mike Pence wasn't ready. He was deflecting. He was dodging questions. Every time the moderator would ask some questions, he would dodge and deflect. The reason why is because he's trying to appeal to certain people, and he doesn't want to admit what a dumbass he looks like.
So I think Mike Pence, when people, they stereotype politicians, I think he fits the stereotype. Lies a lot.
Lies, deflects, doesn't answer questions, makes you false promises.
Honestly, I disagree on the point when you said that he didn't come prepared. I think he did come prepared, but I think the thing with Mike Pence is this. Mike Pence can't tell the truth because they expose him for who he is. And I think Mike Pence can't tell the truth because Donald Trump would get mad. Mike Pence knows the truth to all the answers, but he lies to Donald Trump.
To appeal to him. It's all about appeal. I'm trying to appeal to you. Yes, sir.
He's appealing to his puppet master and their base of blind witnesses.
Yeah. All those proud boys, he's appealing to them. He's appealing to all these quote unquote evangelicals. Which, by the way, how you gonna call yourselves men and women of God, but you supporting that man? There's nothing godly about Donald Trump or Mike Pence.
No.
And then Mike Pence tried to go low by attacking Kamala Harris's faith and saying she ain't a real Christian or something like that along those lines. I'm like, really? Come on, man. You know you're losing the debate, but you're going to try to go there. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And that's the thing that gets me mad with evangelicals is they act like they're the only people of faith in the world. And I feel like, too, with some white people that say, all they love is God, country, and football or something else.
Yeah.
But they say that, but they act as if they're the only person in the world.
Yeah.
There are other people in the world. Like, I have a problem with those quote-unquote people that say they love country and stuff, and say they support the military, but they act as if only white people was in the military.
Yeah.
You've had every fight we've had, even the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, black
there
people.
was slaves. They won the wars.
Yeah.
But if you let some white people tell it, they act as if only white people care about the military and white people serve the country.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's a problem with me because, like, come on now. You can't just be one-sided with history and tell your own version of it. Tell them about, oh, it's this and that, or George Washington, this and that. But you don't want to talk about the black man. You want to go into it about the black man who stood up and how both sides promised the slaves freedom and they ain't get no freedom. It was all a bunch of games. That's what I feel politics is in general. A whole bunch of games, a whole bunch of fluff. You have all these politicians come on there who give you false promises, but then when it comes time to deliver, they can't deliver. Something comes up.
That's politics for you.
It's all a show. All a talent show. That's all it is. It's all a puppet show. While the real people, the lobbyists, control the stuff behind the scenes because they control the money, they control the influence, they control the power. And that's why I say agendas. When I say agendas being pushed, I'm not I'm not joking around. I'm serious about agendas being pushed. You got all these lobbyists who pay these politicians to say whatever the hell they want them to say and push this agenda. And that's why what you want to be pushed is not necessarily going to get pushed because of all these lobbyists. Which is why you need black businesses. Black businesses can funnel the money into the politicians to tell them to control the narrative. So we control the agenda. You can't have white money going in for black power. You can't fund that. It don't go together.
But it all goes back to what I say about these white liberals. When it comes to Black Lives Matter and all these other things, they take their agenda and they mix it with that.
Yeah.
And they make it to like defund the police. Like the overall majority of the people don't want the police defunded because that would cause so many problems. Worse, and then hit the black people more.
Yeah.
If we defund the police. Yes, we want police departments and we want certain police departments defunded that had a history of racism that don't help at all.
Yeah.
But we want the overall majority just to be reformed and take those bad police out.
Yep.
And put in new policies. We don't want to fund the police departments.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
Because those are still the people we have to call when we're in trouble.
Yeah. And also, like, when it comes to quote unquote defunding the police, that's all a slogan. They all, like you said, they control the agendas. They put their agendas into our movements. And this is why you have to very much be careful with white liberals. I'm not saying all white people are bad. Of course not. I'm saying be careful of those white liberals who claim to be a friend. Let their actions speak for themselves. As they start to try to control the movement and try to speak their agendas into the movement, then you know you're in bad shape. It's like, wait a minute, why are you trying to control the movement? If the movement was originally about this, you can be a part of it, but don't try to control the movement. This is what our former black leaders were talking about.
I agree.
Like Malcolm X, he's talking about the fox and the wolf when it comes to politics. You have the wolf, who's very much represents the Republican Party. You know where they stand. You know how they are. But some of these white liberals claim to be your friend, claim to want the same agendas you want, but then when it comes time to deliver, they can't deliver. I'm saying be careful with that. Now, when it comes time to vote in terms of Donald Trump and, versus Joe Biden, I know who I'm voting for. Joe Biden, of course, but I'm going to hold him accountable. Saying you're not just going to come up in here and just, we're going to vote for you. We're not going to get nothing out of it. Those days are done. The time of that is over. That's why I tell people to get politically educated. Know who's on your ballot. Know what issues are on the ballot. Know what policies. Know what the politicians stand for. You don't know what the politicians stand for, the politicians can sit up there and screw you over out of anything. So I tell people to be an informed voter and make an informed decision, which reminds me of early voting. Early voting for the state of North Carolina starts October 15th. So if you got to take an Uber down there to go vote, do that. If you got to mail in your ballot, do that. But either way, I need you to run to the polls. This is not a game. Your life depends on this. How the politicians do, what the politicians do, it affects you. It's called local elections and state elections. So this weekend, if you got the time to do some research on the politicians, just do some basic research. Look them up. Look at what their policies are. Be a politically educated voter and make informed decisions. That's what we're all about here. That's what all part of the Black evolution is all about. Voting and being an informed voter. So I just want to tell y'all that. The early voting in the state of North Carolina starts on October 15th. So get politically educated. If you live in the state of North Carolina listening to this, brush up on your politicians, get politically educated, and then go down there and vote. If you got to take an Uber down there, go take Uber down there. So Tyler, what are your thoughts on early voting, my brother?
I echo those same sentiments that you just iterated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have one thing to add. Early voting ends on October 31st, and the general election day, the actual election day, is November 3rd. So you have more than 2 weeks to vote early.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to vote on November 3rd.
Yep.
So you have no excuse.
You can't say, my vote doesn't matter. Yes, it does, goddammit. Because if it didn't matter, why would they go through such lengths to stop the voting process? As I told you before. Why would they go through such lengths? And speaking of politicians and affecting people, let's talk about the most recent development in politics. You have a political governor going out against white supremacy, and you have the Proud Boys threatening to kidnap that specific governor. What are your thoughts on that, Tyler?
I think the Proud Boys, they were listening to their leader. He told them stand back and stand by. And this is the effects.
Yep.
The problem is, this has always been going on, but this is the first time in a long time to where majority whites are in trouble.
Yep.
With white supremacy.
Yeah, this has all been going on, especially with our leaders.
Before we always had white supremacists and small groups like the KKK and stuff like that terrorize and antagonize and oppress black people and those white people that helped in the movement. But it was never a majority of white people. Now it's a majority. So that's where it's becoming a real threat.
Yep.
Because they're trying, Proud Boys and other white supremacy groups, they're showing their heads. They're showing their faces. They're loud and proud. That's why they call themselves Proud Boys. Mm-hmm. They want you to know.
Yep, they want us to know that this is what they stand for. But a lot of these things, be careful with the quote Proud Boys, because they think that they're the only ones that have guns. But you got to realize something. There's a lot of black militia groups that have guns too. So if you inciting violence, I'm just saying, be careful what you ask for. You don't know what you're going to get. If you think you're going to...
Something I want to add to that too. It's a good thing that you said that. And I want to say is, people keep saying, what about the election time? Now, until the election, we got to worry about Donald Trump. No. Donald Trump is going to be more of a threat after the election to Inauguration Day. Because he's a man backed into a corner. And see, people understand, when somebody's backed into a corner, they'll do anything.
Yep.
Like, you ever heard the term, you never back a cat into a corner because they start scratching and stuff?
Yeah.
That's the same thing with Donald Trump. People keep worrying about election time. He's going to do his usual stuff. But no, he's going to take it up a notch after election day.
Yep.
Because he's going to cause uncertainty. He's going to tell people, he's going to declare victory, even though he doesn't win.
Yep.
To distract people, he's going to start saying fake news more than ever. He's going to say, if he finds one ballot that's been tampered with, or he can say he can prove it was election fraud, he's going to use that all the way.
Yes.
And that's what everybody's not understanding. We have a wannabe dictator in office. If he gets reelected, it will be a dictatorship. And that's the thing. He's not. What he showed in that election, he's showing that no, I'm not here. I'm not going to accept the results of the election. And then Mike Pence said it during their respective debates.
Yep.
What he's telling you is, not only will I not accept it, I'm not leaving.
Yep.
And that's what he's saying. He's saying, whether I win or lose, I win. I'm not going nowhere. Ain't no election.
Yep.
It's what I say goes.
Yeah.
And that's what people in this country are not understanding. You got to learn your history. You got to learn and look at different countries that's done this.
Yeah. Hitler done this.
Don't think it won't happen here.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah. Vladimir Putin did it. Hitler did it. And now Trump's trying to do it.
Yep.
I watched a documentary on Vladimir Putin. One of the things that he did was basically when he got in terms of power, he never let up. He did a fake election, and then the person who was running up had him as his advisor, and this and that, and then he came up in there, and he became the president forever. He's been running there as being the president ever since. So don't think Trump won't try to do the same thing. He will. Because he's not playing games.
And two, he's going to use, and the Proud Boys understand it. He doesn't care about the Proud Boys. He's using them as a pawn in his game to get what he wants. He's manipulating it. And that's what people understand too. The media these right-wing media networks, they're using, in Russia, they're using all this propaganda to discourage you from voting, to discourage you from caring about everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to overcome that. You see you're under attack. We're not going to get, voting is not going to be the only thing to stop all this stuff from happening, but it's the start. It's the beginning, but you got to get something to go to the end. You don't just vote in this election, too. You got to keep voting for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
A democracy is not just by one person. It's all the people. We make up the democracy.
Yep. I agree with you on that. It's all about the people. It's not about the leaders. The leaders are put in power because of the people. So we can get them out by voting. And not just for this election, but beyond that. Always be politically educated. That's what I've been trying to tell people for the longest. Always be politically educated. Know who's in there, know why they're in there. And hold these politicians accountable. You may not agree with PD's statement.
There's one more thing I want to add too with that. I just thought about this is you have people over here still waiting for these second stimulus checks and they're not getting done. You have people, these people in Washington and your state legislators, they were more worried about the Supreme Court justice pick than they are about you eating, you being safe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting the Supreme Court justice. Yeah, the Republicans right now, they're devising a plan to nominate her so she can take your health care.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris said it the other night on the debate. She said, they're coming for you.
Yep.
And that's what you got to understand. There's the difference between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. The Democrat Party, yeah, you can say they didn't do nothing for you and this and that. But the modern day Democrat Party, one thing you can say is they didn't try to take away your rights.
Yeah.
They're not trying to personally come after you. The Republican Party, their whole existence is to take you and eliminate you.
Yep. Healthcare, benefits, pre-existing conditions, all that. They quote unquote say they're creating more jobs. What jobs have they been creating? I haven't felt it. I haven't seen it. What jobs are you talking about?
Yeah. And what I'm trying to get people to understand, yeah, the Democrat Party has done wrong from when it started, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
But things get changed. Do you know that Coca-Cola, when it first came out, they used to put cocaine in the stuff?
Yep.
But guess what? They changed. They evolved the brand.
Yep.
It stands for something else. Now they drinks are good.
Yep. Abortion.
Allowed to do that.
Yeah, people always talking about abortion. The original history of abortion, go look it up. The founder of abortion wanted to quote unquote exterminate the Negro and try to kill black people.
Yeah.
Now abortion stands for something completely different.
Yeah.
Where basically it's talking about, hey, pregnancy and this and that. And it's all across the board. Now, I might disagree with the slight fact that they might have more abortion clinics in our community than any other community. But at the end of the day, what is abortion really all about? Pregnancies. And not trying to necessarily kill the baby, because it's not really a baby until quote unquote full term.
Yeah.
And when it gets that full term, then it becomes then that's a life. But you're not killing the life. You're killing like the zygote and all that those cells and stuff.
Do you want the government telling you, women? Do you want the government telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do with your body?
Or
do you want that?
Yeah. Or do you want the ability to choose?
Yeah.
God gave us free will. You should be allowed to use it.
Yes. And this is what y'all not understand it. These people are here to take away every given right that you never thought about.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare. You get sick. What happens?
You gotta go to the hospital. Then you gotta pre-existing conditions. Well, if you get sick, you go to the hospital. They're gonna take away health care. You can't get the treatment that you need to get better.
Yeah, and you have a president right now. He caught the coronavirus being negligent, nominating a Supreme Court pick that is trying to take away your health care. And guess what happened? He went to the hospital on taxpayer money.
On your money.
On your money. He went to the hospital and he got the best treatment that none of us will ever get.
Mm-hmm. How many of us? I looked at the treatment, the number. One of the numbers is about $100,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. But how many of us working Americans right now, including myself, have that type of money to get that type of treatment? None of us do. But he's getting it. going to the hospital on your money, your taxpayer money.
And he didn't pay nothing over $750 in taxes for 2-3 years. He paid more money to a porn star than he did in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
He paid Stormy Daniels, a porn star, $200,000 to keep her quiet.
Yep.
He paid all of $750 in taxes. You got teachers that pay $4,000 and $5,000 in taxes. Is that fair?
I don't think so.
I guarantee you, every single taxpayer in this world is paying more money in taxes than
Donald Trump.
The United States, and more money in taxes than Amazon, Facebook. So you're saying the system is rigged? Yeah, it's rigged because you ain't playing it.
Yeah.
It's gonna continue to be rigged
if you don't play it.
System.
Yeah, a lot of people say I ain't voting, I ain't doing this. System is rigged, brother. System is rigged, brother.
Because you ain't doing nothing about it.
Yep, you sitting up there. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't participating. I've seen a lot of people.
Don't get fed.
Yep, I agree with that, brother. I agree with that. People, they just sitting there. My vote don't matter. My vote don't this. If your vote didn't matter, why would they make such an effort to conceal the vote, to stop you from voting? Because they know that you have power. Your vote has power. But you sit them there and talk about my vote doesn't matter. Every time we vote, we don't get nothing. You don't get nothing because you're not specific on what your demands are. Be specific what your demands. Don't just be like, what you gonna do for us? What do you want? If you want reparations, come with a plan. It could be a 10-step plan, it could be a 20-step plan. Come with a plan and documentation. And do that. Don't be sitting there complaining and you not participate. This election, I don't want to hear, well, the system is like this, system is like that. And you not do nothing.
Yeah.
You not participate. If you ain't participate, shut your mouth. I don't want to hear your mouth.
And something me and you was talking about earlier before we started the podcast was, you said more people was paying attention to the fly, Mike Pence head than they were about the stuff he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny. We can make light of the moment with the fly. That's funny, but don't make that the only thing that you talk about in your conversation. All the stuff he was talking about Supreme Court pick. That's gonna take away your health care.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff he was saying was basically stuff that's gonna hurt you.
Yep. And that it affects you. There's an old saying, people don't care about anything until it affects them. This is affecting you. So I strongly urge you to care about it. Or there's another saying too, that you need to feel in order to learn. Well, I pray to God that you don't want to feel it in order to learn the lesson. I pray to God that you make the right decision to care about these issues before it's too late, and be participate in this election and participate in voting process, not just through the presidential election, but the local elections as well. Know who your council members are. Know who runs your government. If you're wondering why is it here? Why in Charlotte is more expensive? Why is it in New York is more expensive? Look at your government. Look at what they're doing. Why is there police brutality in New York? Look at your government. Look at what they're doing. Look at your attorney general. Look at your mayor. Look at them. See what policies they do. Get politically educated. Stop being politically uneducated. Another thing we want to talk about is celebrities. Celebrities, I love them. They're cool. But they should, if they're politically uneducated, shut your mouth and get politically active. Do some research and then speak. I don't know why in our community, Tyler, they always want celebrities to speak for us when they're not politically educated themselves.
That's the truth. I think really in our country, celebrities, they feel that people want to follow celebrities and they want celebrities to do everything, but you don't want that to happen because guess what? We got a celebrity in the White House now.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing. He's making a mess.
Yeah.
He's the most famous person to ever become president.
Yeah.
And look what he's doing to us.
This country is a mess because of that.
And he told, with the first thing when he got elected, when he was running, he said, I'm going to run this country like my business. If you see that man's tax returns and stuff, you'll see where this country is going.
Yeah.
If he's running it like his business.
Mm-hmm.
You see it right now.
He claims to be an intelligent businessman, but he's making ignorant decisions. He's been bankrupt 5 or 6 times. That should tell you everything you need to know about him as a businessman. Trump University failed. Trump States failed. All these different scandals. Come on now.
And it's showing too. His tax returns show he has a loan that he owes $421 million.
Who does that owe that loan to? That's what I want to find out.
Yeah. And 2, he needs to get reelected just to pay that loan.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get reelected, there's going to be a 6th bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get him out of office before he bankrupts the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to say about celebrities can be good as far as endorsements and getting you out to the polls, but you shouldn't follow a celebrity for everything. You shouldn't expect celebrities to have all the answers, because that's not their job. That's your job as an individual.
You have to look it up, to do research.
Yeah.
And figure out what's going on.
Yeah. The celebrities, they're nothing more than citizens like us.
Yeah. They just have more money. That's it. And they're good at their craft or whatever they do.
Yes.
But they're just citizens like us, so why would you have them be leaders? What, because they're popular? Hitler was popular too. And look what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have many great leaders in our communities, but people, they don't want to acknowledge them and support them.
Yeah.
We need to start doing that. Like you're saying, with the celebrities, our NBA players, we're proud of them for all what they've done. But they don't have all the answers.
Uh-huh. I love LeBron. I love LeBron getting active, but he doesn't have all the answers. It's up to us to look up and do research, and the people and we're politically educated. That's part of the reason why some of us in our community are in the condition that we're in, because we're not politically educated. Get politically educated. Know who your politicians are. Know what policies they have. Hold them accountable. Ask the questions of what are they going to do for you. Not just vote for them just cause. You're a chump for doing that. If you just vote for somebody just cause. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Get politically educated.
For the party either.
Yeah.
Because you got some. It's the difference that people don't understand. The Democrat Party nationally or statewide may be good. But if you go to your local communities, the Democrat Party may not be the best solution.
Yeah.
But you have to look at who the person is, the individual.
And look at what how they run their particular communities.
Yeah.
Look at what they do. Look at what their record is. Look at what their track record is, and then make an informed decision. Policies. I know some people don't want me to hear. Don't want me to say, why are you talking about policy? The answer is crystal clear. I'm talking about in a general conversation, because you don't want to do is vote just cause. I'm not just gonna let any politician walk up to me and tell me, oh, this and that and da 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 da. Do you know how many quote unquote scam artists do the same thing? They just walk up to you, they make you a whole bunch of false promises. Are you going to invest in them just cause? Well, the words sound good, so I'm gonna just invest. You're a fool if you do that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's so many people get scammed. They come up on there, they give you a whole bunch of false promises, and they say, oh, vote, endorse me, and get behind my business. If I don't do no research and everything else, you just sign away. You're a fool for doing that. You ain't do no research. You ain't do no digging. You ain't run the numbers. But you gonna get along just cause he said some good words. I'm like, what's wrong with you? You ignorant. You're politically ignorant.
It's just like you go on a job interview, or you go on they're doing a credit check on you. They're looking at your transcript from high school, college, or just like you go to college, they're looking at your high school transcript. They're doing that to get an idea of what you may be, or what. It's not even who you are, it's what you do and how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's a credit check. It's something showing, can we rely on you to do this? When you buy a car, they do a credit check to make sure that you're gonna be able to afford this car. You're gonna be able to make the payments.
Yep.
That's sure. That's the same thing you need to do with your politicians.
Yep.
Because I remember when Donald Trump was running, a lot of his supporters saying, well, they don't care about his business career. What does that have to do with him being president? It has a lot to do.
Yeah, it tells you who his character is, tells you who he is, how he runs things, how he does things.
And also, too, he had no political experience.
Mm-hmm.
So all we had to go off was his business career.
Yep.
And his business career had people actually looked at what he did over his lifetime and how he ran his business. He would have got elected.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
But they keep looking at the person, the celebrity.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's the thing. Like like you said, you mentioned this earlier. How everybody just background checks and fact checks and everything else with your credit and with your cars and everything else. The same thing how you do run your politicians. So like if you're trying to get an apartment, you basically they have to make sure that you can afford it. They do a background check. You give them their pay stubs. Okay, can you afford it? Are you qualified to do this? And if you're not, then they're not gonna give it to you. Same thing with these politicians. You need to look at their background, look at their history, look at how they've done things, and then make an informed decision. Watch the debates, which I recently have been doing. Watching the debates. You see how they talk. I saw how Mike Pence was deflecting. I'm not voting for you. I can honestly tell you deflected. If you deflected, you can't answer an honest question. I'm not voting for you because that's how you're a politician. It tells me your character. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, she directly answered the question. She knows what she was talking about. She was informative. She did her homework. And you can tell that based upon how she performed in that debate, that she knows what she's talking about and she has a clue. Versus Mike Pence, he looked like he has no clue what he's doing or no clue what he's talking about. But go ahead.
So Mike Pence is too. Mike Pence, when he was the governor of Indiana, Mike Pence did conversion therapy on gay people. What that basically does, it puts you on these treatments and they shock you.
Yeah. To pray the gay away. Pray the gay away.
Yeah. And this is our vice president.
Yeah, and that's basically borderline torture. You can basically that's like you trying to remove somebody or trying to turn somebody from straight to bi. And you gonna give them a bunch of shock therapy and remove the straight away. You can't do that.
And this is what I tell people too. This man is 174-year-old heartbeat away from being the president.
Yeah.
This man almost would have been the president last week.
Mm-hmm.
If Donald Trump got worse.
Yeah.
That's why I keep telling people. You keep saying, well, there's no big deal, there's no big deal. But look at these people that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how they operate their lives. And their governments and their businesses.
Yep. Look at what they do. That's why I tell people you got to be informed. Do some research.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the same thing with Mike Pence and everything, how he does gay therapy and everything else. You got to look research. Look at Donald Trump. Look at his business career. Look at what he does. Look at Kamala Harris's career. Yes, she was a prosecutor and everything else. A lot of people get mad and talking about, well, she locked black people up. Well, if you do your research, you'll find that most of those black people she locked up, they deserve to be locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may not want to say this. They're like, well, this and that. Why she locking black people up? Well, do your research and find out.
Yeah.
Don't just go based off of what I say. Do some research. I may be incorrect on some areas. Go ahead.
I say this: if you can remember the lyrics to the WAP song, you can go and do research on things that matter.
Yep.
You can do research on these candidates.
Mm-hmm.
You can do research on the price of medicine, the price of manufacturing, the prices being sold in other countries, the prices that we get ripped off here.
Yep.
The prices of healthcare.
Yep. You can do research on all these areas.
And I don't want to hear people saying, well, I can't go vote because of the pandemic. You go to the club with a group of people, with crowds. You go to amusement parks with groups of people. You go to birthday parties with groups of people. So if you can't stand on the line to go to the voting polls for a day, there's something wrong with that.
Yep. Something wrong with you as an individual.
Yeah.
And I'll say to conclude this podcast that when it comes to voting, your vote matters. If it didn't matter, then why would it make such an effort to stop the voting process? Because your vote matters. You have the power. So this upcoming election, early voting in North Carolina, starts between October 15th and it ends October 31st. So you have about 2 weeks to do early voting. After that, if you want to vote on November 3rd, you can go ahead and do so. but we're giving you the option of doing your research and finding out when you early vote because your vote matters. I just want to say this. This concludes the Dab Daniel podcast. Stay informed, stay woke, be an informed voter, make an informed decision. And I'm signing off. This is Dab Daniel signing out. Bye-bye.